Welcome to Subramani. The topic today is women and money. And nothing bothers me more than a woman who wants to remain ignorant about money. I'm not saying being ignorant about money is bad. It's not. It's a place to start with. Maybe your family where you were brought up, your parents did not teach you anything about money. You learned nothing about money during your school and formative years. But after getting married, there is absolutely no reason to continue that, especially if you are a non-finance person. Assuming that the husband is a finance person, the finance background, and the woman is a engineer or a doctor or some other professional, non-finance professional. There's all the more reason to say, "Oh, my husband does all the money managing." So it's very easy for a woman to say, my father, mother, brothers, or boyfriend, husband, or somebody looks after the money. Whenever I want money, they give it to me. That's okay. My mother talks that language, but she's 82. So for my mother, talking that language is very different from a younger girl talking that, because my mother today does not have to worry about financial abuse or things like that, or not pursuing a career. All that's over, past. Whether she should have worried at 22 is different, but nothing went wrong in her life financially speaking. So it's over and done with. But if you are in your 30s, 40s, or even in your 50s, and you don't have a very trustworthy relationship. My mother went through a very trustworthy relationship, so for her it was okay. I still have aunts who don't try to understand much, but it does not mean everybody should be like that. I have one aunt who understands all her mutual funds, her investments, equity investments. She does trade, she does talk about it, right? So because let's understand, at some stage a woman is likely to be single. Some women don't get married at all, which means all the more reason why they should understand money, because they have nobody. They can't turn to anybody for managing their money. They have to do. There are women who will get divorced. They have to then at that stage manage. Maybe there is no financial abuse in that relationship, but whatever reason there has been a divorce. So again she's alone and she will have to manage her money. A woman is likely to be widowed, because a woman is likely to live for 7-8 years, 10 years maybe after their spouse's death. Just mathematics here. And with all this, there's a greater reason. Now suppose you don't have children and your husband dies when you are both 50 years of age, and your husband dies, you could live another 40 years where you have to manage your money. How will you not manage your money? I can't understand. So women, please don't abdicate responsibility. I'm here talking of nice men who are not abusive. If they're abusive, then it's much worse, right? So don't get into this and there are women who earn much better than their husbands. Then out of the guilt that they're earning more, they like to hand over the money to their husbands and let their husbands manage it. This is the worst thing that you can do. This is the Britney Spears kind of a thing, where she earns money and her father controls it. I think it's horrible, and it's happening in US, which has got democracy. I don't know how would it be in India. I'm sure there are many women who are very successful, who earn well, but it is the whole money is controlled by the father or by the husband or some possessive boyfriend. Why would you allow that? Please learn about money. And I think it starts with laziness. It's like men who say, I can't even make tea. It's laziness. Men who say, I can't even make dal chawal. It is laziness. Or women who say, I can't understand banking and all. It is laziness. It is not some rocket science. If you are smart enough to do your MBA, if you're smart enough to do your MBBS, if you're smart enough to run a family, have 2 children, put them through school and college, you're smart enough to handle simple, stupid things like personal finance. You actually don't need to understand too much about personal finance, especially if your husband is looking after it. That's great, but at least know where it is going. Why is it going into equities? What is the retirement plan? What will you do if your husband drops dead? Do you have adequate insurance? Where are the insurance papers kept? What is the name of the agent? Why are you dealing with him? Where is his phone number, right? What is your husband's login ID, password, right? Because if he is having a heart attack, you have to admit him in hospital. You have to have access to all the monies of his credit card. So you need the credit card. I mean, of course the credit card pin will be available, but there is a 4-digit code which may be necessary. You may need to know the password of his phone, because the OTP will come on his phone, not on your phone. Basics, doesn't it sound like very, very basic? So why don't you have common passwords for have one bank account, or have a credit card which she knows how to operate? Making sure women cannot abdicate responsibility completely. And these are, I am talking of very nice men being married to women who like to remain ignorant. Now what happens if it's an abusive relationship where the man is doing all this deliberately to keep you away from the money? Right? So when you go into a class, especially the younger classes, maybe class 11 or and you say there is going to be a stock exchange game, some communities women come, but normally the ratio there will be many more boys coming and very few women coming. Why do girls take this view that they need not know, because there will always be somebody to look after? Why would that guy be wanting to look after your money? This country has seen so many successful women, right? I'm talking in financial services. You have seen Chanda Kochar, you have seen Shikha Sharma, you have seen Radhika Gupta, you have seen Monica Hallan, Uma Sashikant. Maybe I should have said Uma first. Right, all these women are being successful, and I'm sure that many of them are, if they are capable of running their own businesses, their own companies, can't they handle simple personal finance at home? I'm sure they can, right? And I'm sure they are doing it themselves. Of course, if you're married to a financial professional, there's a good chance that both of you will discuss. But if you are not married a financial professional, I'm sure these women, suppose Chanda Kochar was married to a successful doctor, I'm sure she would be handling the personal finance. In this case, if the husband is also a finance professional, maybe they handle it together. But the reverse of a successful doctor letting his wife manage the money may not be so common, right? So if a woman is a successful doctor, chances are and the husband is a chartered accountant, good chance that the husband is managing the money and the wife has no clue what is happening. If she is professionally qualified as a chartered accountant and he is also a chartered accountant, chances are that they at least know. But women who are not finance professionals, I want to see them handling their own money, right? It's not rocket science. Any of these women will tell you this is not rocket science. If you can run a family, among all the things that a Monica Hallan or a Uma Sashikant do, handling personal finance is not their toughest job that they do. They're doing far tougher things. They're in the markets, they're writing, they're talking to people, they're looking for business, they're raising their children, right? Those things are far, far more complicated and difficult. So why would other women not copy and at least look after their personal finances? At least know where it is going. I'm not saying you need to understand how a equity fund manager picks stocks. No, that's not, nobody needs to know. Men, women, they don't need to know. But know that 60% of your money is in large cap, some of it is in mid cap, some of it is in small cap. In case of an emergency and you needing money, you have to have an emergency fund. If you have exhausted the emergency fund, then go to a fund which has got a lesser standard deviation. Or if you have some insurance policies, maybe you can surrender them, maybe you can borrow. These are basics and there is no reason why women should not know. If your money manager but the thing is, I do not know how many money managers handle their wives handle their portfolio. I would be very happy if the wives took over and ran the portfolio with the husband just supervising and saying, okay, you did this right, making the monthly payments, right? If the husband's account is being used for making the utility payments, that's fine. That is how, if he's the primary provider, he should be doing it. But every month the wife should be making the payment from his account. She should know how to put the OTP, what is done. Now in my case it's completely automated. It gets debited to my credit card on the due date, so I really don't know when the bill comes and when the bill goes. Of course I get an SMS to that extent. So women should at least be able to answer some of these questions, like why have they invested in so many funds, what is the term insurance, what is the critical illness policy that they have taken, and how is the retirement plan going to pan out, when will the pension start, could you take, I mean typically if the husband were to drop dead, can she take over the family reins and run it, especially when the kids are small. By the time the kids are 18, 20, the kids also have their own lives, they have their own phones, they know how to crack a phone, they know all that. Then maybe involve the kids so that the children are able to help you. But in the case where there are husband and wife, there are no children, then the woman should know everything that the husband does. You need to share it, you need to make a will or whatever you have to do, the documentation, the finances, where it is gone. And if you can't reply to questions like, I don't know where is my retirement money, where it is gone, which fund, why that fund, if you can't answer that, please understand that you at least should know how it goes, how it will come back, how long is the lock-in. Women cannot, I mean, why women? Even men, if the wife is handling it, doesn't mean the man does not need to know where it is going, because men can also be abused financially, right? So I think a lot of the blame of these women not handling their money goes to the mutual fund industry, because the mutual fund industry never made an attempt to address women, or they'll come out with some pink looking form and say this is a woman's scheme. That's very, very stupid and superficial. There has to be an encouragement for women to take up money management, in the sense that I wouldn't even call it money management, I would call it money administration, knowing how it gets invested, what is either or survivor, why the redemption will go only into the husband's account if the husband's account is named as the first applicant, how to withdraw money from that account if the husband is not there, how to change the password. I mean, the OTP will come to his phone, and on his phone, if she does not have the password to open the phone, what is she going to do with the password, right? So some of these things she should know, and she should take the trouble to know. You can't abdicate and after 20-30 years come and say that, oh, I was abused financially, I didn't know about it. There are clear signals for you. If you can't answer where your retirement money is going, why you don't have a co-signing, why your accounts are not joined, right? If you're suffering from these things, it means you're being abused. Be careful. Thank you.